All right. So you said you then, when you were 17 with that accident, you said you struggled in school.
Yes. So, as I had said prior, from when I had my blow to the head when I was 10 years old and was having a lot of issues in school with processing information, my memory, difficulty with reading, um, understanding how to do arithmetic, things like that. Um, just before the car accident, when I was 15, I actually went to see an audiologist and did a school test and had come back that I had severe central auditory processing disorder. And so, between the two head injuries, they had slowed me down, but I continued to keep going. I graduated high school at 18 and then went into college when I was 18 for healthcare aid. And I also did my 2 year postgraduate in dementia and Alzheimer's studies with elderly. And did that, which was my dream job up until I was 25, where unfortunately, when I was working in one of the privately run retirement homes, I was sitting down on a wooden stool and the back leg snapped, and I went down back, coccyx to head off a hospital bed frame behind me and knocked myself out, which unfortunately uh, put me on a 180 tailspin, to say the very least, every part of my life, which was now 15 years ago. So,
Well,
um, yeah.
so many, it's like this is the story of so many of us too. I mean, first of all, if you get one traumatic brain injury, I guarantee you will have another. Um, Especially with the mild ones, because they're often missed. They affect our coordination, the way we perceive and move and stuff like that. And we're more likely to slip, trip, fall, hit our heads. And back when we were younger, they just simply dismissed
Yeah.
the symptoms and you're diagnosed as, oh, you've got a learning disability, you've got a this, a that. And many of these cases, many of them are um, actually traumatic brain injury. And if you look at the symptoms and the profiles of people, they develop dysexecutive syndrome. As a kid, you can call it ADD, ADHD, and often these kids who have it have a diagnosis of like ADD, ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, these other behavioral symptoms, when actually what it is, it's a neuropsychological cluster of symptoms due to TBI. And the problem is kids do not do as well as adults do because areas of the brain that would normally take over more complex tasks as an adult, behavioral and like high level specific functions, they now have to do the jobs, the lower level jobs. It's kind of like if you have a company and you have spots for high level executives, they can't necessarily do that if you have to fire like 30 people and your company has like 100. Well, now those people have to do all these other jobs and they can't spend the time doing like thought leadership and like coming up with, you know, ways to make a company grow. Instead, they've got to devote their time to manufacturing or whatever else. And so it really hurts. Same thing here. Same thing with kids. And the kids look good. They look, the F word I'm about to say, but they're not because all the other kids seem like they've got brain damage because kids act like little, jerks, little, at that age. And it's okay because that's normal. But when you reach 17, 18, whatever else, behaviorally, when you're expected to act like an adult, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, when it's not okay to get smashed with your friends anymore, not okay to race down the street at 100 miles an hour, when it's not okay to take high risk behaviors anymore because now you've got your own kids, you can't act like a jerk anymore, and you're still doing that. There's a problem. The problem was always there. It just was never picked up because you look like all the other kids. But now you've always been here, and the other kids grow, and you've remained behind. Now, I'm not saying singular. I'm just saying, kids with traumatic brain injury. And so you really will have a great insight to explain kids with brain injury. And of course, knowing dementia stuff, because our risks are much higher for dementia. And so that'll be useful too. So what happened? What are the symptoms you saw after? For first of all, how long were you unconscious?
Honestly, I don't know. I was just myself at the residence, so I can't honestly give you a time frame how long I was unconscious. All I remember vaguely is that I was staggering around like I was drunk, and
Okay, altered level of consciousness. How
uh,
long were you confused, or were you like, did you have just, memory issues or confusion before you started to say, this is the last memory I had, this is the next?
honestly, I could tell you right now, I don't remember the 2 years before and at least 2 years after.
Whoa. Okay. So definitely a significant traumatic brain injury that last. Wow. Okay. Um. hmm. So, what are some of the problems you face day to day?
Um, so executive functioning, like planning, organizing,
Mhm.
getting proper sleep.
Yeah.
Um, being able, I haven't been able to work in 15 years. A lot of it because of the mental
Right.
uh, demands. I find it also difficult with um, brain fog and finding the right words. So aphasia. Uh,
Ooh.
um, I also have mobility issues because of my injury. I've seen two complete spinal cord injuries. So
Ooh.
I'm yeah, all because of the falls, the one that fall. So I find um, when I have less sleep, my balance and mobility is impaired. Um, I do already have balance impairment to begin with. I walk with forearm crutches, and I also wear prism lenses in my glasses because of damaging the
Ooh.
occipital lobe of my brain. Um, those are just a few.
Yeah, it's a gift that keeps on giving. And it also usually affects things like social skills or social cognition. A lot of people think, "Oh, I'm good with that." The problem is it's other people who notice when you have problems with social cognition. You think you're perfectly fine, but it's other people are like, "Yeah, right," because it's your own knowledge of these problems. I'm sure you see that also when you worked in a nursing home. You saw that too, like with, you know, they thought they were okay, but others around them knew they weren't.
And that's the hardest part I find is that people are so unforgiving on that because they don't want to understand or care to understand, and they think, okay, well, this isn't who you used to be,
Right.
or in your mind you're not where you used to be, but you
Yeah.
there, you know.
And he may say something hurtful or whatever, and it's like
Intentional.
it doesn't occur right away that you probably shouldn't have said that to somebody, and it's like, oops, you know,
I struggle a lot with making friends and
it's hard.
social, like I have a lot of social anxiety, but then I also, with the difficulty with speaking, I find it even harder to feel comfortable to go out there.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the detours family, because just about all of us have. Some of us have more awareness. Some of us have less of the problems we have. Some think we're perfectly okay, even though we're really not, and others no. And anosognosia, you know about that, where you're not aware of your disorder. Others no, and that really adds to the burden in a lot of ways. In some ways, it's better not to know how bad off you are, to think you're okay, it's minor. Others know how bad it is, and that really adds to the burden.
And that's where I think, I didn't realize that, and as we'll discuss, I know you were mentioning this in another video about me having sepsis a year and a half ago, how sick I actually was even before that.
Sepsis, and a lot of 1/3 of TBI survivors develop sepsis. 1/3 at some point in their life,
And that's, yeah,
because our
and
immune system's affected
part
too.
that is
Yeah,
that it's a
Colleen
scary.
talks about it.
Yeah.
She's a friend of yours, right?
You're a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a friend of all of ours. She's struggling right now a little bit, but
Well, we love you, Colleen. Um, yeah, so she had a different kind of sepsis than I did. I actually had urosepsis in December 2021. No, sorry, my surgery was December 2021, August of 2021. And then December 24th of 2021, I had complete ostomy surgery. So I had my bladder, everything else removed because of the sepsis, how bad it was. It almost killed me. So unfortunately, it was a tough decision, but the best decision for me. But um, that's when we started really noticing how much the cumulative effects of all the other injuries were. So
Let's try and end this on a better note. So what are the things you're going to be talking about?
I would love to talk um, about about my journey with sepsis, more in detail, and about people with children being affected from um, acquired brain injury, as well
That's a
as
good one.
the level of myself as a caregiver for people that had dementia, Alzheimer's, or stroke patients as well, and also just what it was like for me, even on the level of being a newlywed uh, when I had my accident. So, how it can affect the relationship.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely something worth talking about.
Definitely.
All
I
right.
think the big thing is I'd like to talk about how to start looking at being able to advocate for yourself to the others and professionals.
That's important too. All right. So these are just some of the things we're going to hear from Christina. We're obviously having some audio problems and some other things due to connection issues right now. Um, so hopefully we'll get all those straightened out. We lost the connection at least once and we're close. So that's kind of why I'm cutting this one a little short so you can get things fixed. But I do just want to thank her. And the introductory video is literally just that, telling stories. And so then when we go from here, we'll be able to hear more in her story. But I do want to thank her for her time, welcome her to the Detours family. She's another host with a lot of interesting stuff in her background and who has a lot of knowledge. And those of you who have experiences like hers hopefully can learn from her, just like all the rest of our many different hosts. And so they'll be participating. You'll be hearing from her when she's able and she has time. A lot of people have very busy schedules, and so different hosts will appear at different times. So thank you again, Christina. We appreciate your generosity with your time. Remember, please comment below, share this with people who will benefit, click like and subscribe, any comments. And if you have any knowledge or any suggestions or anything, we're always listening for that too. And reach out, contact people if they have something to share. So please click that bell icon, like and subscribe, the usual. So bye from Detours. Bye.